Aroostook County takes up a little more than 21% of Maine's total area, making it the biggest county by land in the state. It's actually larger than Connecticut and Rhode Island combined. Thanks for joining me on News Center Maine Plus. I'm Sharon Rose. Aroostook County is large when talking about size, but when talking about population, it's relatively small. In fact, the most recent U.S. Census data shows the county has the most significant population decline in the last decade out of all of Maine's 16 counties. A few months ago, former News Center Maine reporter Hania Shivi looked into why and what can be done to reverse that trend.
According to the U.S. Census, the county has lost around 6.5% of its population in the last 10 years and close to 10% over the last 20 years. Last time I visited Aroostook County, I asked every person I interviewed, who all had a wide variety of backgrounds, if they are noticing their towns changing regarding population.
Oh, yeah, it's concerning, obviously.
I found that, of course, people are not having the number of children they used to have years ago.
I don't lay awake at night thinking about it, but there's not a day that goes by I don't think about it, because it impacts schools directly.
It's not a good thing.
It's a catch-22 situation. There are no easy answers for that one.
It scares me for the future of Aroostook County. We've done things correctly. We've raised our kids, we've educated them, sent them off to college, and they aren't coming home.
But it is a long way from large cities, and it's always going to be a challenge.
Yeah, that's out-migration is really hurting this area bad.
I'm sad to see the numbers dwindling, because now that I'm here and integrated, like, I see the beauty and the draw and the value.
Well, obviously it's disturbing. It's been on a downward trend, I think, since the 80s. And then in the 90s, when Loring Air Force Base closed, that was when we took a huge, 10,000 people left the county.
Clearly a lot of back and forth about what has happened to the population in the county. Census data shows the population decline started in the 1960s and accelerated in the 1990s when the Loring Air Force Base closed. Another factor is that the number of young folks in the area is not the same.
Growing up in Fort Fairfield, we were graduating classes of 70, 80, 90 kids. Last year was 22.
Former superintendent of schools in Caribou, Tim Doak, strongly believes the decline in population sends ripples across the county. A smaller workforce, loss of businesses, and fewer students in schools. So how can that be turned around?
I really think we need to promote the area that, one, the schools are small and they're like private schools. We know everybody by first name. We know their mom and dad by first name. Low crime rate. We have a very low crime rate in Aroostook County compared to the rest of Maine. And the rolling hills and the beauty that you saw when you drove up here today. Those are the three factors I think that would sell any region.
When I first came here, 70% of the students, I would say, were from Aroostook County. Now, we're looking at pretty soon a majority of our students are from out of state at this institution.
UMaine Presque Isle President Ray Rice says the institution changed what it offers to students during his 25-year tenure.
We wanted to ensure that we had programs that are important to Aroostook County and important to the infrastructure and the communities here, because we know we need to be a vibrant and important part of the infrastructure of Aroostook County.
The university also added programs students can take fully online. Rice says that has helped keep enrollment numbers up, and UMaine Fort Kent reports the same change with the same results. The catch is, those students don't end up living in the county. So how can we attract more students and young adults to come and stay in the area? Well, Maine Senators Susan Collins and Angus King say it's all about getting the word out. They say northern Maine is a place where you don't have to sacrifice community to find opportunities.
Aroostook County is a microcosm of Maine, where our principal problem historically has been location, geography, far away up the upper right-hand corner of the country. But we're moving into a time, and that's why I keep coming back to broadband, where for the first time in history, you can work where you live instead of having to live where you work. And that means that the nice places ultimately will win. Aroostook County is a really nice place. It also has a secret quality that isn't all that well known, even in the rest of Maine. It's a real community.
One thing that is a big advantage that Aroostook has over most of the rest of the state is you can still afford to buy a home there, and that's a big plus as well. A lot of it is dispelling the myth that there aren't jobs in Aroostook County. There are jobs. There are very good jobs. The small communities where there's a sense of neighbor caring for one another. And that, to me, is what makes the county so special.
There are a few events that draw people to the county every year, like the Can-Am Crown Sled Dog Race in Fort Kent. And there was one event in particular that got a ton of attention in 2024. That was the total eclipse. Its path of totality went right through parts of the county and drew tens of thousands of visitors to the region. According to the Maine Office of Tourism, Aroostook County alone saw a 27% spike in visitation and a 99% increase in spending the week of the eclipse compared to the 4 weeks ahead of the event. The Aroostook County town of Houlton was the last place in the U.S. for the eclipse to pass through. The small town was the epicenter of excitement around the eclipse in Maine. According to the 2020 U.S. Census data, Houlton is home to a little more than 6,000 people. But on April 8th, an estimated 20,000 spectators flooded the area to experience those few minutes of darkness from totality. So how can you get visitors to stay in the county? Well, here again is Hanny Ashivi with a look at what's being done to turn that shrinking population trend around.
Aroostook County has seen a 10% drop in its population over the last 20 years, and that's according to U.S. Census data. It's a trend that has some of the people who currently live there worried for their economy and their future. But there are efforts to draw new, younger people to the area and convince those already living there to stay. The two main economic engines of the Aroostook County region are the potato and forest products industries. The Maine Potato Board Executive Director says there are solid opportunities for people in the agronomy world.
They'll look where it is and they get an image in their mind that, oh, that's a long ways away from nowhere. You get them here and you can show them, particularly in agriculture, you can show them the resources that are here for them to work with. And if they're truly interested in working in agriculture and working potatoes, for an industry our size, we have a lot of opportunity and a lot of resources for someone to do that work.
The school break is essential to get the kids out and to work them through the harvest, because they can then see there's a lot of opportunities in the agriculture industry and reasons to stay here in Aroostook County.
It's a push Daryl McCrum is contributing to. He's one of the people who opened and runs the new McCrum facility in Washburn, bringing 150 jobs to the area.
The majority of workers at this plant are from Aroostook County. That just shows you what can happen in any community if industry moves in and brings new jobs, new growth. Any community that may be falling behind can move forward again.
To ensure the economic survival and growth of the county, 20 private business leaders there put their heads together and created the nonprofit Aroostook Partnership.
It's no secret what has happened with baby boomers exiting the workforce. We're an old county in an old state, so we've had to take a look at this and kind of get proactive about it. And Aroostook Partnership takes the lead on this in the county. We've set up a committee, a workforce development committee, as of about a year and a half ago.
Aroostook Partnership has done the research for anyone looking to get a better picture of the area. They're finding new ways to market the county, highlighting job opportunities, breaking down the cost of living, and showing out-of-staters the list of advantages.
I think we're going to have a great deal more success than we've had in the past because we're a relative unknown. You know, it's people, I think they hear about the county, but they're really not sure what it is.
Senator Angus King says his efforts to provide improved internet access will also help make a difference for people who live and work in the county.
And that, I think, is a real game changer. We're in the process, principally because of the bipartisan infrastructure bill that passed in 2021, of providing broadband service to every household in Maine, including in Aroostook County.
Senator Susan Collins says she secured $150 million over the last 3 years to help revitalize and create a number of projects there.
We need to look at our forest products industry. We still have a very vibrant mill in Madawaska, the Twin Rivers Mill, but I think there's more that can be done with forest products in Aroostook County.
Senator Collins is one of the many Mainers who are from the county and hoping to share what the region has to offer.
I would encourage young families to move to the county. It's a wonderful place to grow up, as I and my 5 brothers and sisters can testify.
There is something really special and charming about Aroostook County. I was born and raised here. I've been away. I've lived in the South. I lived in the Midwest. But there's nothing like coming home to the county.
One of my kids that lives in Bedford will not be coming back to the county. There's just not the opportunities that she's looking for here. And then I have a son that he won't live anywhere but the county because he likes everything what we have up here.
One of the trends that I've definitely seen is we have people moving here from away.
With COVID, surprisingly, we've had a lot of people move into the area and a lot of young families. And they are not from here originally. They're from all over the United States. And I'm finding it's bringing a little bit of new life to the community.
So I think we're going to see a big influx of people who come to see the eclipse, and they will look around and I hope they'll like what they see.
In my view, in the 21st century, the nice places are going to win. And Aroostook County is a really nice place.
The Northern Maine Development Commission provides a wide range of services to boost the economic growth of the county as well. For example, how to obtain funding if you are interested in opening a new business there, as well as telling people about the financial and tax incentive programs that are offered in the region. Hannah Yeshivi, News Center Maine.
Thank you for watching us on your News Center Maine Plus app. Be sure to check back here periodically to keep up with our latest content.